Here's the HAS 207 highly automated system. So we're gonna start with some of the fabrication things that we have that might be useful for some of the next projects. These risers, these raise it by 1.25 inches. And this plate raises it by 1/4 inch. The CAD files for those will be available in the drive. Some things that still need to be done is this right here. This needs to be adjusted to where it actually stops the container. As you can see here, we ran into a little problem with the motor being pushed down a little bit more. There still needs to be another optical sensor placed at the front. It's another thing that we still need. If we come back over here to the front side, we're still gonna need cable tray to organize this a little bit better. And here we have tape to show what everything's doing down here. Up here you have your on and off switch. That'll turn on your power supply. The relay will only turn on when you send a signal to it. If you can see that blue wire up there, that is where the signal comes in from the PLC. That's gonna activate that to start the motor. As we can see, all the buttons are operational. So our inputs are good. All the sensors work on this guy. So as far as fabrication, that's the only thing that really needs to be adjusted. Additionally, the conveyor belt needs to be retensioned. It keeps wanting to walk to this side over here, so that's just tensioning down in this guy. This rail could be extended a little bit over here because we have a problem with alignment when the container wants to come around this corner here. It wants to roll out here. So maybe extend this rail a little bit would solve that problem. As far as wiring, it's pretty simple down here what we got going on. This is all of your pneumatic outputs. And then at the end here, we have specifically just light outputs. Up here, this is gonna be your inputs as labeled on the tape reference. And then down here, we could see white. That's gonna be our PLC power coming in, powering all of these inputs. So the signal's up here, here's the power. So it's coming through the power and then signaled through ground. Through the PLC, over here we have our power from our power supply. And down here, once again, we have PLC power. So that's power coming off of the PLC powering not only this row, but also this row. And then additionally, we have 2 ground bars. This one is for the PLC ground. This one up here is for the power supply ground. Over here, we have our separate 120 volt circuit coming off the relay. We wanted to make sure that was really separate from everything else and clearly labeled. We got the black on there to describe that it's 120 volts. And this guy is gonna be the only piece separate from all the rest is 120 volt system. And I'll show you one more time on the other side where that's coming from. We see these two guys, these 2 wires. We got our red and our neutral there, or ground. When we come over here, our red is coming straight off of our PLC. I mean, our relay, I apologize. Yep, so it's coming straight off the relay. And then same thing with the power supply. This is our power supply power that I just showed you. Here's that PLC power down here that I just showed you, heading up in there. We got everything over here just labeled for you guys to make it a lot simpler to continue this process. And once again, there's a reference for your guys' color combinations. Over here, pretty simple. We got our I/O modules in here. It's pretty kind of hard to see in there, but you basically split one side input, one side output, then you got your commons. Repeat it on the next one. And now as you can see, you got your inputs here, your outputs up here coming in. So that's pretty simple. And then, so as far as an issue that we're having, up in here, we're having a little problem. The power for the motor from the relay works as intended. You know, it stops when you hit the E-stop, turns on when you hit the on. So that's great. All of the inputs work as they're supposed to, but we're having a slight issue with the outputs. So the outputs will work how they're intended to perfectly, only if the E-stop is pressed and the power is off. So E-stop's engaged, power's off. All of the outputs should work good. The light should work regardless, but as far as the pneumatic manifold, that's where our issue's kind of at right now. It's probably a pretty simple fix. We're talking like maybe just separating the power circuits a little bit more and just being a little bit more thorough on that. And you guys should be good to go. Yeah, this thing's really, really near being finished. We just last minute got the rest of the casing on. We left this open for you guys just in case you guys need to get in here and make any changes within the process going on here. We believe this is one place that the problem may sit. The other place may be down on our power circuit down there, but I believe it's just up in this problem here. Other than that, yeah, everything should be pretty labeled for you guys. I'll have all of the CAD files and everything else that you guys are going to need for this process. Yeah, thank you guys, and thank you for watching. One additional thing I wanted to add is the motor outputs actually go in through here and then straight on over into the relay to signal it being on. We also are going to provide you with what we have for the code. It should be pretty close. Maybe just slight adjustments. Other than that, there's nothing too much for you guys to complete on this, and I'm happy to see it be finished. And also to reference the inputs, if you look, we got labels on this side and they transcend right over to the other side. So whatever's on this side applies to this side.
Hello. So wanted to go over an issue that we were having with the wiring. I don't exactly know what the issue with the wiring is, but I do know that the outputs work when the emergency stop is on and the power switch is off. And it's only the pneumatic actuator outputs that do that. Yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. And then I wanted to go over the tapes. So we'll have inputs, ground is green, pink are pneumatics, red is power, blue is outputs, and then white is PLC power. So you see we have here with our inputs coming from here, they're kind of taped there. And we have our outputs, and a couple more inputs here. And same thing underneath, we'll have outputs and inputs, more inputs. There we go. Alright, and that's it. Maybe